How's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to a Wednesday. It is the Earthmaster here, about 11:49 a.m. California time, May 15th, 2024. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D globe shows a 3.2 into the region of the Puerto Rico area. All right, we did have some further space weather activity kicking up here once again last night with a couple X flares coming in. Of course, there is the strongest X flare of the current solar cycle 25. That was from a sunspot that is no longer facing the Earth. It did produce one more X flare along with a new active region coming around the eastern limb here. That this is the area that did produce an X flare as well last night. Now 3664, the culprit of our CME activity and the aurora activity here recently, is way out there on the western limb, so that's no longer visible, but it was still popping off X flares last night. The new region, the area of interest here, the one that just recently produced an X flare as well this morning, we're just getting a little glimpse of it out here as far as the magnetic complexity, and it does look like it's going to be quite an active area. As that region did see an explosion here a couple days, or yesterday, out there on the eastern limb. There's our X 3.0 that kicked up overnight. That is from an old sunspot here, 3654. Let me find the most recent image here. This is the 14th. I guess this is just going to have to work. This is about a day behind, but it does show 3664 out here on the western limb. This is the visible disk of the sun. Western limb, eastern limb. There's that new active region here coming around. It is cresting right about now here on the eastern limb, so we do have a little glimpse of it. This is, again, about a day old. So we'll get a better view of this throughout the next couple days, but it does look like it's going to be an area of interest for some stronger flaring. And that's an old sunspot here that's coming back around the bend here for a second viewing. It is currently flaring. Look at those magnetic lines there. Quite the dynamic area here. We'll have to watch in the coming days. We could see some more elevated activity here as far as the aurora forecast goes once we get things into position here. Overall threat shows a 75% chance for M flare, X flare around 40, C flare around 99% chance, and we're still seeing protons here being elevated, mainly across the polar regions up here. I pulled up a, let's see, where did it go? Is it this? Nope. I had one of these up here I was going to show you guys. There we go. The charged proton event there, the solar energetic particles that are shot off from the sun, come to the Earth here at a super high rate of speed, faster than the CMEs. And that's that little snowflake effect that you guys see out there. All those little charged particles, when they slam into the Earth, they do create these elevated proton events here. And that's not the auroras up there. That's mainly just radio blackouts being observed across the polar regions. Flaring activity centered right now due to the current flare out there on the eastern limb is centered over the North America region. Radio blackout can be observed here as well, but it's not quite as intense there on the high frequency affected by the absorption layer here. So we'll continue to watch that. Again, we got a very active sunspot region coming around the eastern limb that we'll keep an eye on here for sure. The aurora forecast right now, fairly minimal. Nothing in the forecast. Things are dropping pretty quickly, but again, we got this super active region we're going to have to watch here in the coming days. Things might get quite active once again. All right, there's our activity from yesterday in the Puerto Rico area. 5.6 coming in yesterday. We did see a little bit of aftershock activity in the 3 range, along with another 3 coming into this area right now, 3.2, a little bit further west along that plate boundary here in Puerto Rico. So we'll continue to watch that. I did mention to watch for some activity up north here. It looks like we did kick up a little earthquake into the Canada region, 3.2 showing up here north of the area. I was looking for New Jersey here, seeing if we could see some earthquake activity overnight, but looks like that skipped that region and popped up around the Ottawa area for a smaller quake. Been watching, some movement out here along the west coast recently. A lot of earthquake activity in the oil fields out here and also the New Madrid seismic zone. This area was quiet yesterday. So aside from that one three-pointer showing up right now, we could see things fill in here throughout the day, maybe a couple smaller quakes. Southern California area, still watching this region here. Doesn't look like we've seen any larger quake activity overnight. This region has been swarming quite a bit here over the last week, south of the border, along the Imperial Fault here, and also extending up into the Brawley seismic zone, awfully close here to the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault, which remains quiet for now. There's an earthquake 4.0 that came in late last night. Pretty deep, though. This is a 25-kilometer deep earthquake into the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. Now, of course, here's the interface level where the plate begins to subduct, but you got to remember underneath this area, the further east you go, is the subduction zone underneath this region here. So 25 kilometers deep into the southern branch, southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. The rest of the globe out here, Hawaii still seeing some movement, really nothing of major concern for now. Further down here across the Tonga region and New Zealand, still getting some activity. A little bit of adjustment going on here across the plate boundary of North and South Island. Some deeper quakes into the Kermadec Trench, it looks like, right there. And that leaves a seismic gap zone here across Papua New Guinea eastward here through the Vanuatu area. Up around Japan area as well, fairly quiet through this region. We'll have to watch that throughout the day today. And the rest of the globe here just looks very typical. A little swarming going on out here around the Turkey area. Looks like some 2s, 3s, and maybe some 4s out there as well today. The Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. Not a whole lot going on out there. Let's go check out Iceland activity real quick, far as any elevated earthquake activity, because we are reaching a point here, a very vital point on where the next eruption is going to take place here. This is a 24-hour map, so I'm going to drop it down to the last 12. Still seeing some earthquake activity out here in the area of concern, just to the northwest here of Grindavik. And, most of our activity has been confined up here between Hagafell and Slingerfell and the Stora Stagafell region. But remember, a couple months back here, we did have a fissure event open up right here. Got to watch that because we could still see some further eruptive activity here across the surface regions. All right, as far as any other weather goes, weather here on the planet, enhanced risks for some severe thunderstorms out here. Mainly, it looks like due to some wind and hail. There's not a huge tornado threat, just a 2% chance there in those green areas. Mainly wind and hail threats out there today across regions that could use some more rain out there. I know Texas area has seen a lot of rain, but western Oklahoma, western Kansas out here definitely needs quite a bit of rain. It looked quite dry last time I was out there. And unsettled conditions out here over the next couple days. The tornado risk returns a little bit down there to Texas tomorrow. Mainly some wind and hail threats out there as well. But we'll definitely see quite a bit more precipitation accumulating out there in this area of Texas. Let's see what else we got, folks. We got the member drawing coming up here today. I'll do that. It's noon right now, so here in a couple hours, we're probably going to shoot for 3 o'clock in the afternoon here. So that's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern time and so on in between. I got a few things I got to do before then. And if you're not a member here on the channel, jump on board, become a member here today to be entered into the drawing that we hold every month. We've been doing it for 2 years now. So we'll catch you guys back out here a little bit later on this afternoon. Stay safe. And these seismograph stations all look pretty quiet out here for now. Not a whole lot of major earthquake activity, but as always, we'll keep an eye on things. Have a good day. We'll catch you guys back out here in a couple hours.